And of course, you already know what we do here on Safe Space. But if you're joining us for the first time, Safe Space is where we have conversations around gender violence, abuse, and how we can avoid certain things that lead to things like this in our society. And of course, I'm not here alone. I'm here with Barrister Kayode Olumide Omoshebi. Good evening, Barrister.
Good evening, Effie. Awesome to see you again. How are you
Yes,
doing?
I'm fine. Thank God.
And good evening to all those out there listening to us. It's awesome to have you join us this evening. So, I'm Olumide Kayode Omoshebi, as introduced by Effie. And as we do every Thursday, 6:05 to 7 p.m., right here, this program is called Safe Space. A program where it's all about family, it's all about relationships, and we have been talking about mistakes that we make while considering our choice for a spouse. Now, we have shown in the previous broadcast that marriages and relationships, the success of which is not determined by religion or tradition.
Yes.
As we know, that it is now an international phenomenon that Christians have the highest rates of failed marriages in amongst all religions that exist. So it shows that marriage is not about religion, and then it is not about tribe, as people think, especially our parents then, that will say you have to marry from our state, our village, as if there is one particular water that flows in your village that makes marriages work. There is none. There is no fruit that grows in your village, in your town, in your local government that makes marriages work. There are armed robbers in every state. There are witches, there are cultists, there are, what do we call them?
Different
things exist in all states and in every country of the world. So our conclusion statistically is that marriage has been about the character of a person, which we overlook. We tend to start considering religion, tribe, my father's friend, we know the father, we don't. All that does not account for character. As religion is not character and temperament is not a matter of tribe.
Of course.
So how do we start when we are now considering a choice for a spouse? Now, in over 20 years, what I have found, according to all the cases that we have handled, is that the first step in getting a partner, when you have now gotten to that age that you believe that you want to settle down, the first step is you. How do I mean you? It is called self-character. Now, in the olden times, there was a philosopher named Socrates. He was regarded, and he is still regarded, as the father of modern psychology. One of his students approached him and said, what is the secret to life? And he told that student, he said, the secret to life is in this: man, know thyself. Over the years, the British playwright William Shakespeare took those words in his play Hamlet and added, to thy own self be true. So the beginning of every relationship, has got to be you. I would combine those words: man, know thyself, and to thyself be true. You have to know who you are, what you like, what you don't like, what you can take, what you cannot take, what you are struggling with. You need to know what you can handle, the load that you can take. And a lot of people do not know this before they enter relationships. Some, unfortunately, they get married before they discover who they are. And then by the time you discover who you are, what you like, what you don't like, you are already in a marriage with what you don't like, but you did not discover on time. These are called boundaries. When you know who you are, you know what you can take, you know what you cannot take, you know what you struggle with. You now develop those things, now become your boundaries. For example, I have never liked people shouting on me. If you are talking to me and you start raising your voice, immediately I become defensive. I switch off. So I know that I cannot marry a woman who nags, who shouts. I've known that from when I was in the secondary school, because I can't stand it. I like you talking to me, not shouting at me. So right from time in my relationships, the moment I am with a woman, I dated someone for 3 days. We started on Saturday and I broke up with her on Tuesday because on the first date, she just started raising her voice. And, at that time, you have to ask yourself a question. Can I take this for the rest of my life? Is this how I am going to continue? If you know you cannot take it, if you have already known yourself and you know that you cannot take this, then you know this relationship has got to come to an end. But a lot of us start making excuses. Oh, some people say, boy, you don't know how. She's really a good woman. Oh, you don't know him. Oh, he's really a good man. Maybe that day, it was just an off day. Maybe something happened. Yeah, something happened to everybody in Nigeria. Something is happening to us every day. So there's nothing different that happened to them that is not happening to others. But that does not mean. So that means that any day something happens to them, it will come on you. So I knew I couldn't take that, and that was the end. You cannot marry your struggle. That is what you are struggling with. Someone who maybe you don't like, some people can keep malice. They won't talk to you. You can't, you don't like it. So when you are in a relationship, you see that when this person gets angry, you have to be apologizing over and over. And when you know that, I can't take this, immediately you need to first know yourself, what you are struggling with. You cannot marry your struggle. You cannot marry your affliction. You cannot marry your temptation, someone that will provoke you. Those things you don't like is the very things those people enjoy. So you need to know what you can handle, who you are. I don't like confrontational people. That is, if anything, you just confront me. What do you want to do? I'd already known that. So when I dated someone I saw was confrontational, I just know this can't. So you have to, some people take it that the person you are dating is the person you must marry. I don't understand where that came from. I don't know where that came from. So dating is getting to know the character of a person first, then asking yourself the question, can I take this, what I know, for the rest of my life? And if you know that question you cannot answer, then you step aside. Now, these are your boundaries. Everybody must have a boundary. There is no country without a boundary. Even the ocean has its boundaries. The rivers have their boundaries. The seas have their boundaries. The streams have their boundaries. Everything has a boundary. So when you meet someone who has no boundary, then you know that person is just what they call disaster.
Yes. Because
you don't know, they have no boundaries. So the first step in getting into any relationship, into when you are ready to that, okay, now I want to settle down. The first step is that you must know who you are. Man, know thyself, and to yourself be true. You can't deceive yourself because you already know the truth that you are deceiving yourself. So that is the first step. Then we have noticed, after compiling almost 20 years of case study, also with the data from Lagos State, found that people who are in abusive marriages, who separate, who divorce, victims of domestic violence, are people who marry a spouse that has one or more of these 7 character traits. So I call them the 7 character traits that you cannot marry. If you get married to someone who has one or a combination of these character traits, your marriage will definitely become abusive. The 7 character traits are these. The when you marry a proud person or a jealous person. Then number 3, a stingy or selfish person. Number 4, a jobless or lazy person. Number 5, a hot-tempered person. Number 6, a malicious person. And number 7, a liar, someone who lies. Today, we will talk about the hot-tempered. Have we talked about any of them?
No, we haven't.
Okay, let me start with the hot-tempered. Britannica defines a hot-tempered person as someone who becomes angry very easily. Merriam-Webster defines a hot-tempered person as someone also who gets angry very easily. Vocabulary.com also defines a hot-tempered person as quickly aroused to anger. Collins Dictionary also defines a hot-tempered person as someone who gets angry very quickly and easily. So, of all, I've given you 4 different definitions from 4 different dictionaries. They all say the same thing: getting angry very easily and quickly. Now, the synonyms of hot temper are choleric, harsh, cranky, hot, impatient, temperamental, irritable, snappy. All these describe a hot-tempered person. Now, how do I start? The shortest cut to an abusive or violent relationship or marriage is to be with a hot-tempered person, which means the person cannot control their anger. The person has little restraint. They have little self-control. When it is a fact that relationships or marriages to hot-tempered people leads to an abusive marriage or relationship, which we now refer to as a crime: domestic violence and abuse. Now, statistics show that 1 in every 3 women will suffer domestic violence or abuse in the first year of their marriage. It shows that there is a knack for women to marry hot-tempered people that they know. They already know before marriage that this person is hot-tempered, but there is often this belief that, don't worry, I will change him.
Change him. That's always the line: I'll change him.
The second line is, I know he's hot-tempered, but we are praying about it. So, behavioral scientists have shown that a child's character is fully formed by the age of 12. That means his personality is fully developed. Now, the ages of 0 to 3 are the most important in a child's development, because at that age, they download directly from their parents. From the way the eyes bat, the frowns, they download 100% from their parents. From 3, then their environment starts shaping who they will become. So by the age of 9, 10, some children's character are formed. You would know a child that will lie. You would know a child that is lazy. You would know right from the childhood. In fact, Aristotle said, give me the boy and I will show you the man. It shows that from as little as 5 years old, you can tell the kind of man that they will be. Now, you now meet a man that is hot-tempered, whose character had fully formed from the age of 12, and he's now 30. You now met him in 4 months, and you say you will change someone whose character has already fully formed. Their father did not change them. The family did not change them. The cousins, the king of their village did not change him. You. So I always ask, who is the one that wants the change? Is it the owner of the character or the person who loves the owner of the character? Then secondly, in every scientific experiment, there is a control experiment. That is one, to show firstly if you have done it before. So have you changed someone's character before that you can now gamble with the rest of your life in marriage that you can change somebody's character? Have you? God has not changed the character of Lucifer, but you, the unchanging changer, believes that you can turn a let me see. What is a very violent animal? Maybe a lion. You can
Yeah.
make a lion become what?
Maybe a puppy.
What is a playful animal like that? You can make a lion into. Let's even use a dog.
Yeah,
something that will kill you in an instant. You just turn it to be as playful as a dog.
Or a pet.
Or a pet. You know, you you make a wolf suddenly become a house pet because you are the one that changes people's character. Now, behavioral scientists have identified a mental health condition marked by frequent anger outbursts or aggression, and they've called it intermittent explosive disorder. Ironically, this is for people who are hot-tempered. You know, they just explode. They just keep growing. Their temperature just goes from 0 to 10 to 20 to 90 to 100. And, you know, even when you think that they have calmed down, something small happens, they trigger again. It is called intermittent explosive disorder, IED. Funny enough, there's a military ordinance that is also called IED. It is called the Improvised Explosive Device, which is an acronym for a bomb.
Wow.
So when you are in the house and you have yourself a grenade, a bomb that can explode at any time. The hot temper involves sudden episodes of impulsive, aggressive, violent behavior or angry verbal assaults. Now, it is not all the time that they beat. So a hot-tempered person might not be strong enough to beat you, but verbal assaults. How well Lori Buruku Oloshi Konida, God will punish. And you are saying this to the person that you have children with. You are saying this to the person that you sleep on the same bed. It will not be well with. In fact, you know, all kinds of curses. Whenever they are angry, they cannot control what comes out of their mouth or how their hands react. Anywhere, anytime. I told you that I've been slapped at a bus stop before by a girlfriend. It is something that it should be anybody's boundary. Because if you want to go through domestic violence, the shortest cut, the surest path to domestic violence is to marry someone who cannot control their anger, who cannot control their passion. We have looked at, in this issue of hot temper, I have considered a lot of reasons, like the question, are people born hot-tempered or they grow into hot temper? What is the cause of hot temper and the control of anger? We've gone into various research. That is people that get angry with little provocation. They are ready for a fight. Anytime. And the issue is, I cannot find an origin. The question, are people born this way or is it an acquired or learned taste? It is one of the most challenging questions you can ask. Some people say because your DNA consists of almost 100 people before you. So going down the lane to see that from your father, grandfather, great-grandfather down to 100 generations, is it that some anger has been passing down and which is refined and brought? We do not know for a scientific fact. But there is a supposition that genetics, that is your family tree, can be a contributory factor, but there is no proof, there is no conclusive fact there. But the closest I got that was accurate, almost 70% accurate, in predicting the temperament of a person, has its origin in Greek mythology, and it leads to the 12 zodiac signs. Now, Ares was the god of war, the Greek god of war, and he was known to have the ability to manipulate wars, strife, and combat, and it influences all manners of conflicts, including physical, mental, spiritual, law conflicts. So in those days, the Greeks never really worshipped him because he caused problems. Now, there is a zodiac sign which is referred to as Aries, which the name is from the god of war, which are those born between March 21st and April 19th. They are known as the commander-in-chief of explosive arguments. They are impulsive and aggressive. Their quick temper can ignite like a spark. Eruptions of anger are their trademark. They hold grudges and their anger doesn't easily go away. Now, mind you, it is not everybody that is born between March 21st and April 19th, but it has a very high percentage of accuracy. So now I'm not telling you, you now start going to ask people, please, what month did they get? The second in the order are Cancer, those born between June 21 and July 22nd. They are emotional and sensitive, and it doesn't take much to upset them. They are pessimistic and suspicious, which means they have that jealous trait. Yes. And with jealousy comes that anger. The third are the Taurus, that is April 20 to May 20. They are that of one of the scariest zodiac signs when angry. They are known for their stubbornness and determination, which can fuel their hot temper. Amongst these three, they are the slowest to anger, but when they get angry, you cannot hold them. So those are the three, when you, in all research, that not that can cure, but can predict with some level of accuracy. But it is not all of them.
Yes, it's not all.
It is not all of them. For safety, for sanity, for peace of mind, it will do you well to stay away from hot-tempered people. Even as friends, anything can happen. And one day in an argument, they would have scattered everything before they know it. Even as business partners, I know someone who canceled a contract because somebody said what they did not like, but he is not the owner of the company. There are three of them who own. The other two wanted, but he
insisted.
Had scattered everything before the other two were informed that they no longer want to do business with them because they cannot guarantee the outcome, because business with you is more of emotional than business. There is no emotion in business.
Yes.
We want to make money, we want to demand and supply, but somebody will just come and you walked this way and you didn't greet me, and because of that you will make your company lose hundreds of millions of naira. So that became a problem where the two of them had to vote him out, that they are not okay. They left the company and took their money and went to form their own and those ones too said, as long as this man is with you, we're not going to do. So they went to form with another one. And having them even as business partners is somebody you have to be begging, calming down
all the time.
Everybody must have a hot-tempered person as their boundary. When you are with someone who, when he's angry or when she's angry, there's nothing they cannot say. From your grandfather to your great-grandfather, they will start from your family line. The slaps, whether your friends are there, somebody came to our office, the husband beat her in front of the mother. That is her own mother who came to do Omugo. The mother was complaining, and the husband beat the mother as well. Beat her mother. So my question was, how long did you date him before you married him? He said about 7 months. Did you not see that he was a hot-tempered person? He said, yes, I saw it, but it wasn't like this. So the question is, you saw the head of a snake, and you say you didn't know the snake was this long. Do you understand?
It's not a matter of how long.
It's not a matter of how long the snake is. The point is, you have already seen the head of the snake. So it is a snake. A snake, whether
It's a
long
snake.
or short, does not change the nature
Yes.
of a snake. They will bite. So I don't understand where you think that prayers will change, or you think you can manage it. And a lot of times when you are desperate to marry, maybe because everybody in your house has married, they are telling you that your younger ones have married, your sister has married, you are the only. So the next person that just comes, whether he is man or immortal, you know, the immortals are those with super anger. You just go because you just, and these are the issues why pressure must not be a factor in your marital choice.
Yes.
That this one pressured you, your auntie. I got married at 42, and my wife was 40. By the time I was 40, and I'm an only son and the last born, my mother had gone absolutely mad. That, hey, Tanimo Shell, you know, that what is. And I was wondering that what I have seen, I know I can't take. Maybe I don't, you know, then I didn't know how to go out. I don't know how to toast women, like sing and just so. I had a friend who will go out with me. So I'll just say, I like he will go and toast for me. And, you know, he was teaching me how to. This was at 30 something. No. That is why at times it's good to teach children at a young age, not with religion. We came up from that religious background that when you're talking to a woman, it is sin. You know, you cannot. So I didn't know how to, but, you know, I can't start a conversation, but I can, once the conversation has started, I can continue. Yeah. It is to start that conversation that is the problem. So I had a friend who will help you start that conversation. But, you know, at the end of the day, when I met my wife, now me start conversation by myself. Let me give you some documentaries of fatalities of domestic violence and abuse. On the 18th of July, 2020, a pharmacist identified as Esther was killed by her husband and dumped in the well of their compound. When neighbors noticed her absence, the husband asked for her. The husband would break down in tears, saying that she ran away with another man, leaving him with 4 kids to take care of. It was a neighbor that went to fetch water one of those days that saw her body floating inside the water and raised the alarm. The police and the local vigilantes brought out the corpse, and behold, it was Esther. After much ado, her husband confessed. An accountant in Benin, one Emmanuel Omoru, on the 16th of July 2022, beat his wife to death and hung her corpse in pretense that she committed suicide. He had always been accusing her of cheating, you know, infidelity, which always led to beatings and all that. Unfortunately, this final one claimed her life. We'll tell you that when you are in violence, leave. We'll say, no, go back. Let them go back and marry the man. You know, people who are not receiving your beatings are the ones telling you what to do. Maybe they should join you. Yeah. They should join you in the beating. They should join you in the beating, like this one.
Tell her how it feels.
Like this one that was telling her mother that, you know, he's violent, and the mother said every man is like that. So she came for Omugwo. The husband now beat the daughter and beat the mother. The mother was not telling her that I didn't know it was like this. So the mother left that night back to the east. That night back to the east. Now she's been the one telling her own daughter to stay. She could not take it. That night of the beating, she packed her bags and said she cannot, you know, an old woman. This January, I think it was on the 12th or 14th of January, Madam Chioma was burnt to death in Abagana. Her husband had threatened that I will burn you alive. The husband, after beating, she was the breadwinner of the house, mother of 5 children. The husband didn't work. She was paying the rent. She was the one feeding, clothing, both the husband and the children. But each time she came, the husband would beat her that she's sleeping with another man. The money is from another man. But she was frying, what do you call it, buns, and she would fry that. Then she was an alase, that is, she would go around to the caterers and help people who have contracts to cook for parties. She will cook with them. And that was how she made little money to take care of 5. You could beat her, but you could also be reproducing. 5 children. He beat her that day and said, in a jealous rage, took the jerry can, 4-liter keg, that he was going to burn her alive. She picked up her phone and called her mother and said, Mommy, he said he was going to burn it. The mother said, don't worry. When men are angry, they can say anything. But just, when he comes in, let him cool down. And by the time he came back, she was still talking to the mother when he poured petrol on her and lit her up. She burnt to death and she kept shouting, Mommy. See what the journey of my life in the hands of my husband has turned to. She was burnt. By the time she was rushed to the hospital, she died in the hospital, leaving 5 children. On the 11th of July, 2022, at Ikotun, Mr. Oyelakin Oluwatobiloba was arrested by the police for causing the death of his wife due to domestic violence and abuse. They were just married for 3 years with a 1-year-old daughter. The wife, Sophia, was also the breadwinner of the family and took care of all responsibilities. He was always violent, checking her phone and accusing her of infidelity. He was forced by the family of the dead wife to sleep with the corpse for 7 days before she was buried. When you are with violent people, there is no explanation. The idiots that will say, it is the work of the devil, let us pray. And they make the spouse start praying, making it look as if you are not praying enough. That is why your husband or your wife is like that. You will stay there. And the issue is this. Once abuse starts, reproduction must stop. You must stop giving birth. How can you keep reproducing your abuser? How can you keep reproducing in the home where violence is taught? Conclusive research in the UNICEF website shows that men that beat their wives are men who grew up watching their mothers being beaten by their fathers, a family member, or an intimate partner. So when children grow up in abusive homes, they tend to become abusive adults. At least you have 3 children, 1 or even 2 of them might become the abuser, because that is how you raised them. You taught them violence, you taught them swearing and cursing. And in your old age, you will now have to be contending with the spouse of your children, who will be coming to you, Mommy, he has started again. Daddy, this woman has started. You will start settling those things that they were settling for you when you were married. So in your old age, you will not know peace. Why? Because you are the cause. Why did you continue to reproduce? You complain about this woman that is always abusing you, disrespects you, but then she's pregnant again. Look at Titi Arowolo. She was a staff of Skybank, murdered by her husband, who was a pastor. She was stabbed 76 times. And guess what? They were already separated. She was already separated. She had left him. They would tell her, because she was a devout Christian, that what God has joined together, let no man put asunder. You go back, you pray. So she had been coming, and her father stood violently against it. The father was ready to fight. That beating this girl all the time. She would come home with a swollen eye. She was always wearing dark glasses because of, the red eye today and all that. Eventually, she separated. After separation, she was by herself. When these people came again, that, it is your husband's birthday today. Tabanja Kinshebikaku, why don't you just go and say happy birthday to him, greet him? He's your husband. That's how she got up, dressed up, and took her daughter and was about leaving when her father said, "Where goest thou? Where are you going?" Said, "I'm going to see, today is his birthday." And the father now took the daughter and said, you can go, but my granddaughter is not following you there. She went to his house. He locked her in and killed her on his birthday. Stabbed her 76 times. What? You left me. And something small, because she was the breadwinner. He did not have a job. He was a pastor, a youth pastor at the RCCG at that time. He's still in prison till today. He has been sentenced to death by hanging. He appealed and the court overturned it.
Why will you even appeal for something like that?
He said, let me tell you his defense in court. He said in court that his wife has this, he believes his wife is possessed because anytime she's angry, he will have to pack all the knives, spoons, and cutlery because she will start stabbing herself. That he has been trying to cope with it because she will be stabbing herself and all that. So they had to bring a professor of medicine to show that it is impossible to stab yourself 76 times. Yes. The loss of blood, you would have fainted. Stabbed her from the head, stabbed her in the eye, stabbed her. A person cannot stab themselves like that in the vital organs, in the breast, in the stomach, 76 times and still be. Can you just imagine between this? Just be raising your fist as if you are stabbing 76 times. By the time you get to 30, your hand will be paining you. Yes. So you can imagine the kind of rage, the kind of anger this man had to stab, the blood loss on the floor alone. He now tried to run. It was the neighbors that caught him when they didn't hear her voice anymore. Married to a hot-tempered person is a direct consequence, a direct line to domestic violence and abuse. So anyone who meets a hot-tempered person, someone who cannot control their temper, ladies and gentlemen, that is not who you should marry. It is who you should abstain from. So those that keep quoting the Bible to tell you to marry your affliction, look at this, Proverbs 29:22. An angry man stirs up strife, and a furious man abounds in transgressions. That is, abounds. Look at Proverbs 22:24. Make no friendship with an angry man, and with a furious man thou shalt not go. Don't follow him into marriage. Don't follow him into it. The Bible tells you, don't go with them. Let me leave it there. Back to you, Finn.
Wow. Things are really happening in the world right now. If you'd like to join the conversation or ask Barrister your questions this evening concerning the topic we're talking about, you can call me on 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. You can also call 09155 917 917 09155 917 917 to be a part of the conversation this evening. Okay. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from? Ronke from Arekpo. Ronke, please reduce the volume of your radio.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Please go ahead.
I think that is for what we brought this radio today. These words that they have spoken, it's like a touching word. It's not someone is supposed to be hearing every day. Because it even change something in some people's lives. And I really thank that is for what we brought this evening. And I'm hearing these words, and my heart is just because some parents, what they do at home, because some children grow up with some parents that abusive voice and some other things. So what I see here is that
thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much for calling. Really appreciate that. It's something a lot of people are actually going through on a daily basis, and they don't even know how to come out of it. And that's the very, very sad part. Because everybody you look up to will tell you to stay, and you don't want to disobey the authorities. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Okay, my name is Peter. I'm calling from Surulere.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Honestly, I just want to say thank you to Pastor Lily be an eye opener to so many people. A lot of people are actually dying silent. But thank you, and God bless you always in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. I'm a lawyer. Oh. I'm a lawyer, not a pastor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, God.
Thank you. All right, is that Pastor? That's okay. The number to call if you still like to join the conversation, maybe ask your question or add your 2 cents to the conversation this evening. The number is 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. You can also call 09155 917 917. 09155 917 917. I love when you spoke about the fact that if a person is in an abusive marriage or a relationship and somebody is telling you to stay there, you can equally tell the person to come and experience the beating for maybe just once. Come and experience what it feels like to be beaten by a man that you claim that you love. Come and experience what it feels like to be insulted by somebody that you want to spend the rest of your life with. Because many times it's easy to tell you it's easy for you to tell someone to Maforiti, don't leave the place, love the man or stay there, he can change and all of that. It's easy for you to say because you are not wearing the shoes and you just keep encouraging them till they die. A lot of cases of people who are going through violence in their marriages. And the saddest part is that the children that they give birth to in that situation might eventually grow up to be people like that. And I don't even know how they raise children in that kind of environment. It's just really sad.
There is a case of an inspector of police some months ago, very early in the year. The wife took 2,000 naira from his pocket to prepare food for him.
Okay.
He came back, found that the money was missing, beat her, took a cutlass and cut her hand. Because of 2,000 naira to prepare food for him.
Hello, good evening. Hello? Please, when you see the signs in your relationships, just run. Hello, good evening. I'm fine. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Liverpool.
You're welcome.
I love your program. I love your video.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So much.
I want to ask a question.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm marrying somebody that is hot tempered. And what we want to do because of the wedding vows and everything that you must not separate into our children. What somebody do?
The wedding vow is not a contract of death. In the wedding vow, domestic violence is also not in your wedding vow that you will beat. It is to love and cherish.
Yes.
So the moment someone starts beating, he has already broken that vow. And once a vow is broken, you are free to leave that marriage. Your wedding vow is not a promise to beating. It is a promise to love and cherish in sickness and in health.
Yes.
Not to beat and slap and to curse till death do you part. So the person who is the abuser has already broken that marriage vow. So you leave. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much for that. I actually didn't think about it like that before now. The vow, it doesn't include
domestic violence now. Is it an affliction?
Oh God. So why do people stay?
It is religion and tradition.
God.
They forget the abuse and keep telling you. And why? Because a lot of those leaders, the spiritual and traditional leaders, also beat their spouses. So you are going to report an abuser to an abuser. What do you think they would tell you? Go back. Go back. Go back. When you get to a police station in the case of domestic violence and you see any either especially religious leaders,
Yeah.
pastors and co, you will see that they came to beg for the abuser and not the
The
victim.
victim.
They are always there for the abuser, not for the victim. Nobody supports, and that is where you know that is wrong, because God is not a God of affliction.
Yes.
God came to die for sinners. You don't go and start always pleading for, and that is what emboldens them. They release them
Because they know that there's no
and they come back.
consequence,
There's
yeah.
no consequence.
There's
They know
no
that
consequence. Yeah.
nothing will happen.
Hello, good evening.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
So, there's a situation going on now in church nearby here, brother, but the situation is the reverse. It's the woman that abuses the man. The man has been taking it for over 40 years.
Ah.
So some relatives came to stay over for a couple of weeks and started sharing the woman's support and what was going on. So the man's family are now saying that they cannot accept that. So after investigation, the church got involved, the others got involved. So the man's family went to make a police report on his behalf. Police said they cannot do anything, that the man has to act himself. Eventually, after the man was encouraged by his family to leave the marriage, they are now saying no, that the man should not just leave the woman, he should forgive her. So it was a very interesting situation to me, because I'm usually used to the man being the one beating the woman. And I found out later that this man, I saw him as a coward anyway, because he's afraid of his wife. That's why he doesn't go to police station. And the family are now fighting for him. And now, the family has insisted that he has to leave the marriage. You see? So the situation now is reversed in this case. But he's saying that he wants to be there to get to do them apart. That the wedding vow did not talk about him being happy. That he wants to do the right thing.
Wow.
So it's just a very interesting situation that coincided with what I'm hearing on your station. I say, let me call and ask the advice of the lawyer in that case. But I think the man is a weak man. How can you be afraid of your wife? She's beating you. You are taking it like that.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. It is, when they say domestic violence, it is not a matter of gender, that it is men that always beat their wives. In fact, on the 19th of February this year, an assistant superintendent of police called Laremo Caleb was killed by his wife in Ekiti. He was a police prosecutor and an ASP. She lured him into the room after they all played with their children together, and then used a knife to cut his genitals. While he saw that he was bleeding to death, he now took a metal object in the room and hit her on the side of her head, which smashed her jaw, and both of them died together. This year, it happened in Ado Ekiti. His name is ASP Laremo Caleb. When you think that domestic violence is men, no, women also beat their husbands, kill their husbands. Men also. It is a human thing. It is not a man thing. It is both of us. So when there is a psychologically mental disorder called the Stockholm Syndrome, where an abused victim, that is the person who is receiving the beatings, will cling to their abuser even more. They will love them even more in the abuse. There was a woman who had suffered abuse for 21 years in the UK. When the state became aware, arrested the man and locked the man up, the woman committed suicide because she could not stand to be separated from her abuser. It is a mental disorder, and it is a thing that we should raise our children to identify and run. There is a man that you have just said whose family is the one going to report on his behalf. The police will not have that, because you cannot report a crime on behalf of another person.
Yes.
The person who is affected must be, because if he gets to court, the man will not testify.
Mhm.
And when he doesn't testify, there is no case.
Mhm.
He will keep quiet. He will say nothing happened. And nothing happened. She has not beaten me before.
Because when the family member leaves, the woman will continue the abuse.
So we've seen all these things. They say there's nothing new under the sun. I just tell you, I wish you all the best. But you know that in that house, they would have damaged children.
Definitely.
All the children will be traumatized and damaged. Some will become their mother's children. That is how abuse passes from one generation to the other.
Please, when you see signs, just run, especially when you're still in the relationship. When you see red signs like this, you don't want to change anybody. Don't plan to change them. Don't endure it. When you see signs in your relationship, when you're not married yet, please, it's better you run as much as you can, because all of these things, they show, but we don't take notes of them. We just ignore and feel like, oh, it's nothing serious, it's not that deep. And when you get married, you eventually realize that it's actually that deep. So it's not just women that get abused. Men also get abused violently on a daily basis by their wives.
In fact, I brought someone to the studio in Lagos. The wife poured hot water on him from behind. They were having an argument. The wife would urinate in a bucket and pour urine on him. It got to a time he could no longer enter his house. The wife indoctrinated the children that if the father comes, the children will not even greet. And the children were young. They were not up to 12. The children will not greet him. When you allow abuse to grow, it is slow poison. When you allow it, the first time, you see, abuse is always, it takes after your acceptance. The moment you accept it, it comes to stay. The moment you reject it, the first time the abuse happens should be the last time. I mean, you don't have a second opportunity to create a first impression. When you slap me, I don't need that. I don't need another slap to show a head. That one, I say, You looked at me like this from head to toe. It's not as if you just saw my hand. You saw my whole body. And you threw a slap, a show. That is it. I'm out. Why? Because I want to live long.
Yes.
I want to live long. I cannot be trying to contend. No, she will not slap me tomorrow. It was the devil today. If the devil could get you today,
he will get you again.
Jesus. It is well.
Amen. All right. Looks like our time is fast spent already, and we're going to be saying goodbye now on Safe Space. But I hope you've learned one or two things from today's conversation. It's not enough to listen. It's for you to take action and ensure that when you see the signs in your potential husband or wife to be, please ensure that you do not just take it lightly. And if somebody tells you, stay there, endure the marriage or endure the
pray
relationship,
more.
please.
God did not send you. You see, God has given you, they say wisdom is profitable to direct. If fire burns you, wisdom tells you
to leave the place
when you
and
see
run.
you run.
So why we are
You not start praying.
real life human
God,
being fire.
quench this
Come on
fire.
now.
God, quench this fire. This fire will not burn around me. It will not burn around me. You start
You
praying
stay there.
and you stay there. Great is thy foolishness. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
And until next
week,
where we will deal with the
yes.
second character trait. It is have a wonderful week.
6 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Women Radio 91.7. My name is Finfolua Kiremi. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening, everyone, and have a fantastic week. We'll be with you again next week, Thursday, 6:05 to 7.